listening to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Jerod Zavistoski, and you're listening to and watching Modern Male Radio. This is all the stuff your mama should have told you and the stuff your daddy never knew. And joining me tonight, special guests Danielle Wright and Leah Pelka.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay, so we are on camera. The camera's right there. It looks beautiful. I'm sure you guys checked that out before coming on the show.
Are we supposed to look at you or at the camera?
Yeah, no, either or.
Okay.
You know what's funny is how many people come onto this thinking that it's strictly a radio show. So, I mean, I'll end up sending people the links, screenshots, all these captions and stuff, and they end up coming on just like they show up in the waiting area like, oh, it's radio, I don't even need to wash my hair or whatever. And then it's kind of a hobby of mine to tell them, like right before we go on that, this is on camera, right? And just watch the dread.
Woo. That was me 5 minutes ago. It's okay.
No, you guys look great. Especially on last minute notice. So this is cool. We kind of got to throw together a show today. And one of the things that I like about the show is I really want to immerse the world in, or at least men, in dating. And when it comes down to it, a guy, me interviewing supermodels on a consistent basis isn't always going to be the most, realistic thing. Sometimes you need really pretty girls that you would meet in day-to-day life. Sometimes you need that kind of reality check where it's like, no, this is somebody that you would probably meet on the, in passing, who's really cool or down to earth or whatever, and might have a kid. So we're going to be talking today about how to attract and approach single moms. So both of you guys are single moms, yeah?
Yes.
That's funny. They couldn't stop talking like 2 seconds ago. Like literally, they're just.
I got plenty for you. I'm just waiting.
Just waiting. Okay.
I'm kind of nervous. I don't know what you're
Are you
gonna
a little
ask me.
nervous?
A little bit. I don't know what you're going to ask
Nothing
me,
too incredibly personal.
Okay.
So, what I want to know is like, what's the number one turn on for you guys? Did your turn ons? Did your number one turn on change before you had a kid, as opposed to now? And what was that number one turn on?
Post-kid, I think that my standards were definitely different. I think I was more into things that were external and things that you could quantify. So, quantity, like numbers and stuff like that versus like quality. So I think like post-baby, I was definitely more interested in like someone with quality, someone with substance, values, and ambition. Because I think single moms in particular have to work extremely hard to provide for their kids alone and also to stay afloat by themselves. And so I think that I really wanted someone just that's ambitious, that's doing something.
Yeah.
I would agree. Same thing. But I think, having children, it definitely matured me in a lot of ways. They definitely make me grow. I mean, you look at the world differently as soon as you have a child, or as soon as you really find out you're pregnant as a woman, because I think you become a mother right then, whereas fathers become fathers the second that they're born. For me, I would say I also matured just as a woman. I mean, even now, looking at things differently. So it's not just having children. It's getting older and having more experience, in the dating realm. I think that she's right. Ambition is definitely something that is always attractive to a female. And I think that independence is something else that's also attractive, especially to me, because it's like, look, I love you, but I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you. I'm not trying to spend every second of the rest of my life with you. You know what I mean? Like, I need to take a break from you a couple times a day. You know what I mean? So I need to be able to go work out and have I need you to be secure in that moment too. So it's about them being secure and finding themselves and knowing really who they are and standing really firm in that foundation. And then too, it's like I judge on a ratio of humanitarianism. I want to see a guy who really cares about other people. I mean, because that tells you a lot about a man, is how much they care about other people. Because it's very easy for us to go throughout the day and to not think about anyone or anything else. And then when you see a man who cares about other people, that's good. I want them to make me laugh. Humor. I need to laugh. Like I need you to cut up with me. I want you to be stupid with me. I need to have all of those things. And honesty. I need honesty in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
The world is difficult enough. Don't make it even harder on me and lie to me. This is not an obstacle course relationship. Boy, bye. Like, get your life. I'm not trying to go through all that. You know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So tell me the truth. Those are the things I need. So that's the ratio I need. I need all those things to at least be 80% all the time.
Okay, cool. Wait, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I totally agree. I think there's a huge
Let the choir say
misunderstanding. Amen, honey, baby.
Woo!
I think that there's a huge misunderstanding when it comes to dating a single mom. I think a lot of men do not date single mothers because they assume that they immediately have to play that daddy role. Now, some moms, single mothers, feel differently about that, but personally, I am not interested in looking for another dad right now. I'm just looking for companionship. I think a lot of single mothers, we're superwomen. We play Superman and Superwoman. So, I mean, we put on that cape every single day. Things are thrown at us. Your baby's sick. Come get your baby. Like getting thrown up on before you even get to work. You have to go back and change your
too.
I mean, like, we have so many obstacles that are thrown at us, like, literally at a daily basis. This isn't like, once a month. I mean, it's every single day. It's something, right? And so you want to be able to be with someone that can take off that cape and put it on themselves, so you can be weak with someone. And so I think that's mostly what we look for versus like a daddy right now, because you want that compatibility with that person. You want to get to know them before you even assume that they'll take on that role. Interesting.
So that's a really, really interesting point to want to be able to be weak with somebody, to kind of surrender that. It's kind of like when businessmen are, they need to kind of be like manhandled and tortured by some BDSM chick or something because they're always in control. They're always crushing life. So yeah, I could see that being something entirely. Have you ever had a guy try and get close to you by using your kids, or is that something that you frown on? Or
absolutely, because they assume that you want a dad. They assume you are a single mother. You are so sad and mourning over your singleness and your your independency, and like this is like they think it's like a curse, and so they think that that's what you want. And so they'll come in trying to play the daddy role. I want to meet your daughter. She's so cute. I love kids. I always wanted kids. And my niece and my nephew, like,
are these guys that like kind of aren't attracted to it first and they kind of know it, or is this just like?
I think so. What about you? I don't know.
I've had a different experience. I don't post my kids on Instagram. I really don't let like.
What are you talking about? They're on Instagram.
But they're like at the back of them. I mean, I'm a proud mother. Don't get me wrong, but you have to date me first. You're not meeting my children right off the bat. I mean, that's just not going to happen. I'm not going to put my children in a vulnerable situation where you meet them and then walk out of their life. That's disappointing. Yeah. No, I need to get to know you first. So that's not even an option. Like, that's just a no, flat out. I mean, just no. No. I mean, you just need to know their names. I mean, that's it for right now, because I'm doing a great job, and their father and I are still best friends. And so, it's one of those things where it's like, I choose to be best friends with them. I care about them. I want him in their life, and I want it to be easy for them. So it's like, when it comes down to somebody else trying to be another father or trying to step in or trying to say anything, just no. Like, I don't need that. You know what I mean? I'm handling this on my own financially and everything else. So I don't need you for that right now. And if you and I do well and you show me a period of stability, then okay, that's great. Then we can discuss that. But out the gate, it's just not an option.
Yeah.
Well, you have to consider like the actual like development and psychology of a child. So, at a very young age, like I am seeing my 2-year-old right now doing the whole like mommy and daddy and are you my brother? Are you like, she calls my dog like her brother. But like they're understanding a family dynamic at a really young age. Immediately when you put them into daycare, you have the parents picking them up. So, that raises that issue right there. If I am the only parental figure that she has and she sees a lot of dads picking up their kids, it starts coming into question, who is my daddy? And so with that, I've noticed that my child will immediately attract or attach herself to any man that she sees mommy associating herself with. Right. So when men approach you and think that like you're looking for a dad, like you have to understand that this is like a serious audition before you meet my daughter, because she is going to attach herself to you. And also, like, kids are really intuitive. Like, they can feel when mommy has like the hots, like they know. And it's also really interesting. It's true. And it's also really interesting that a lot of them, whatever your taste is, it becomes their taste. Like it's kind of so like true. That's the chances. So if they can tell that mommy is attracted to that person, like they're gonna
pick a role model.
Exactly.
Like, you have to pick a role model and a winner. You can't just choose whomever, especially because, it's not like I have a different experience a little bit just because I was married to my girl's father, and it was something where it was like, you audition that person and you feel like you vetted them well, and then you find out later maybe you didn't, and you've already had children. These kids are already raised. They're already older. It's not like you're going to have children with them and they might be a good father and you're both rolling dice when you have children. It's like, no, we already have children. They're already here and they know what's going on. So I need to make sure before I put you around them, you got to have good sense.
Yeah,
like, I need to know this prior to. You better have good sense. Like,
That's a really good point. I had a question for you guys, and now I can't remember what it was. It wasn't a question; it was a statement, or I guess it is kind of a question. I dated a girl once who had a kid, and I ended up liking the kid more than I liked the girl.
Well, duh, because like women are like
our offsprings are 2.0. They're a better version.
Hormonal, of course.
No, she wasn't even that super crazy. I just got along with the kid. Like, have you guys ever experienced that? Where have you guys ever dated somebody who just got along with your kids better than they got along with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally did. He made it very clear. I fell in love with your child before I fell in love with you, and it was like you kind of just came with the package of you falling in love with your child. So when we were no longer together. Yeah, it was sweet. And when we were no longer together, he had a really hard time coping with that because he still wanted a relationship with my child. So
that just sounds wrong on so many levels.
Yeah, but he that was like his princess, like that was his baby. And so again, like she has not stopped talking about him, and she's too. Like you would think they soak up things like a sponge. They're not supposed to have a memory right now, and she does. So again, you have to consider all of these things. And I think another misconception about single mothers is like the actual like the co-parenting dynamic. Like she mentioned to me earlier that she has a great relationship with her husband, and like for this conversation. Ex-husband. Gotta clarify. Let's put it in the clear.
It's good, but it's not that good. Like,
but you told me you guys get along.
No, I'm saying we're exes, though. I mean, right, for sure. But yeah, definitely. I mean, that was. Here's the thing. Look, we had our moment where everyone was upset, and well, not everybody was upset, but all right. I mean, it was just one of those things where we had that moment, and it took time, but I was very adamant on like, look, we have to get along. We just do. And then we have 2 children. And, after a second, it started working out that way. And it worked out really well. But that's another thing, too, because, our dynamic is different again. Whomever comes in my life, best to get along with daddy. I mean, it has to happen that way. I'm not going to have any drama like that. Look, I have a good relationship with him, and I'm not going to bust that up for anybody else. I mean, so they have to be able to get along with him when it comes down to it. Now, look, we're not going over to his house. We're not hanging out with him. It's nothing like that. But holidays, birthdays, that's their father. And a level of respect has to just be there, just to shake your hand. How are you? Nice to see you. Just chit chat. Doesn't mean you have to be best friends. I don't need you to add them on Instagram. I just need you to be able to be somebody who can mesh well and understand it is what it is.
Yeah, the maturity of the situation.
Right, exactly. It is what it is.
Have you ever had an encounter where like the father of your child didn't like the person you were dating? Sorry, did I get too deep?
Listen, here's the thing. I know we met like 10 minutes ago, but I wish that motherfucker would say something like that. Like, I wish he would say something about somebody I was with after a second. No, he doesn't say anything. He's wonderful. I mean, he's the best guy in the world. He would never throw out an opinion like that. It's really cool. I mean, I've never seen him be somebody that would ever have anything to say, but I swear to God, I wish he would if he did have something to say. Because, I mean, like, man, boy, I know the details of our relationship. I was there. So who you going to talk about? Please, who you going to talk about?
That was what I was thinking.
Like, what you got to say?
It's like, seriously, like, when you come and tell me that you don't like the person I'm dating, it's like, has it ever dawned on you that you and I had our issues too? Like, you aren't perfect either.
No, like, I left you, and I know why I left you, boy.
Right.
Quit playing.
Right, so you cannot come at me.
Don't
crazy.
Come sideways at me looking like I stay prayed up on that one. I wish he would. But I mean, he's good. He's not a bad person. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, I wish he would have an opinion. Bye.
That is fucking hilarious.
Bye. I ain't got time for that. Bye. And he knows it too. I mean, the thing is,
nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time. And I don't have opinion on his women either. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes down to it, he's like, I trust him to vet somebody for our children. So I mean, but I wish he would. But he's honestly, he's way cooler as my friend and my ex-husband. I just don't ever think he would. You know what I mean? He's just way cool as an ex-husband.
That could be an awkward, like, is he dating somebody right now?
No, but he did for a minute. And, I knew who it was and everything else. And the girl was pretty. I mean, she seemed like a really nice girl. She had her stuff together. And that was, again, see, this is why. I trust him to vet out the right woman. I mean, our issues came down to other stuff. It has nothing to do with him having good sense, because he does.
Yeah.
You know, he's an educated, really smart guy. You know, that's what drew me to him to begin with. But, you know, he definitely would choose a winner, and he knows I would do the same thing. I mean, at the end of the day, he could argue that point because I chose him. So what you going to argue about?
So it's interesting. So the dynamic there is it wouldn't be if a guy was trying to get with you to try and like, you know, kind of like do something for your kid first. It would be almost as normal as if you didn't have a kid, or easier in some ways, because you guys are actually just looking for, you know, well, I don't know. I mean, when you meet somebody, are you looking for a husband immediately, or are you looking for is it something that you want to get to a serious relationship, or are you looking for just, you know, kind of a break from the world?
I have my days where I'm like, it would be really nice to have something serious. But for the most part, like, I just want companionship and, like, intimacy. I think that, again, we have really, really tough days, and you kind of just want that outlet. And I think as a woman, you always, I mean, you get these, like, women that are like, I am so independent, ain't nobody, and I don't need a man. And, you know, like,
Girl, bye. Quit playing. Everybody need a man. Girl, bye.
Right, exactly. That is the reality.
Everybody need a man, woman, whatever you want. Like, take your pick, but everybody needs somebody, a dog,
everybody,
like,
you know, they want someone. They want someone to emotionally hug them and not necessarily take care of them emotionally.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the reality of it. And we always, you know, put on this facade like we are so strong and we are so independent and we are women, hear us roar. And we, you know, we have those weak moments, and I just think society just doesn't see it that way. I also think that there's like this huge misconception with these like baby mama, baby daddy things. Like, do you get that a lot? Like, oh, like baby mama?
No, I mean, because, you know, again, it's the attitude that he and I took together on it. You know, I don't call him, like, my baby daddy or anything else. And I think, you know, he didn't call me that either. So I think it's one of those things where it's like when he and I were cool, you know what I mean? It really kind of ironed those things out. But prior to, I could have seen those potentially going down the wrong way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like I could have seen it going that way. But I think that we kind of steered back on course and were able to avoid that whole dramatic situation. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that, like, the way he represents me to the women he talks to and the way I represent him to the men I talk to keeps that drama down. You know what I mean? And I think the way he talks about me to his inner circle and the way I talk about him to his inner circle, even right now, you know, it portrays a level of respect where we don't have to have that issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I 100% agree. I think the whole baby mama thing is like, it attaches a huge stigma to it. So when you hear someone having a conversation, they make a rep. They basically don't attach a person to the mother or father of their child. They just give them that title and that name, and that title and name, you know, comes with a stigma. And I think when
I wish his girlfriend would one day, because I'd have a title right back for her too,
and
it
God.
would not be cute. Like, the girl put a title on me, best believe I would have one right back for you. Like, and I'm baby mama, so I'm always gonna be around, boo boo. Like, your title may not. So,
well, that's the other issue, is that, like, you know, they don't necessarily, when a man is looking to date a single mother, they don't want to date the woman and the father of the child. Like, and it's true. Like, well, here's the difference. Some single mothers have present fathers and others don't. So in your case, you know, the father of your children is present. Wonderful. Mine aren't. So when they come and approach me and they have those worries, or they don't approach me at all because they think that's the situation, again, like, I feel like black women in particular, like, you think we are the baby mamas, like we are the perfect recipe for the Maury show, right? Like, I think that's what it is. So, like, usually I don't get approached because they assume, like, they also have to deal with baby daddy or the baby daddy issues, and, like, that's not my reality. And it's frustrating because you feel like you could have passed up on the one, or the one passed up on you because they have, you know, these assumptions about you. So
I think that the only assumption that we need to let go of is the idea of the one. I mean, I'm a dating coach, so, and I'm a dating coach who also wrote a book on being Prince Charming, and I put a whole bunch of poetic stuff in there because it's sad, because I do see and I love the romantic aspect of all these things. You know, I love the romance and the idea of Prince Charming and the princess and a lot of the stuff.
Who doesn't love the idea of, like, a perfect fairy tale? I love the idea of winning the lottery. It's just not realistic for me. You know what I mean?
It's not that it's not realistic. It goes deeper than that. It's a biological process. And if there was only one, or a soulmate, it would make life incredibly hard and difficult. I mean, it wouldn't agree with science. We're genetically predisposed to like what we would procreate with better. which is interesting that we come back to this on a show with about kids. We're actually attracted to women who, attraction in general, like you're attracted to pheromones because of fertility. You're attracted to wider hips, breasts, all those different things that men are attracted to have directly to do with a woman's fertility. Even when men are attracted to a specific race, it's because their internal system is saying, you're going to procreate, you're going to create stronger children with this person. So it's really, really interesting when you go, like when people have a type, and they can't figure out what that type is. Well, a lot of what that type is they have, obviously, what they're biologically compatible with. And then they have their nature with what their nature is compatible with. And then they have their nurture, so their upbringing, the emotional damage, all the issues that they went through, all of the bullshit that they feel comfortable around or in. So, for me, it's like I'm an Aquarius and I'm also fucking insane. And I had an insane childhood, so I get along with insane women. And, and then that to boot goes along with the genetic compatibility with what my specific type. So then I think that's why people think it's like the one. Because you've got a lot of factors that are actually being, kind of siphoned down into, like, she has to be kind of crazy or relatable in some way. We had to kind of grow up have the same kind of nurture circumstances, or at least be able to understand those nurture circumstances. Then our natures have to be compatible, and then our biology has to be compatible. And when those three things all come together, you're left with, you went from the whole world to a very small select group of people. And then not just, genetic compatibility, but then she's also got to be attractive in the way that you find, a woman attractive. So her features, you can be genetically compatible with somebody who's ugly as fuck.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
I don't know about you, Jerod, but.
So, and then it goes even, and then you have to take into account that the people in that small group that you are, compatible with are maybe taken, or they've been in relationships, or maybe they're in relationships that aren't the most compatible for them, but they've kind of grown into it and acclimated to the problems and difficulties, and they're making it work and working through that. So the idea that your soulmate could be taken away because she just happened to meet somebody sooner than you is, the whole relative divinity thing. When we talk about higher powers, and if there's a one, then who created the intention to give the one?
So you mean to tell me that
it turns into a religious argument,
that there is no such thing as the one?
I'm
listening right now, because if that is the case, then I would definitely go with it.
I do not think that there is the one. I think that the reason that people feel that way is because throughout this sorting process, they kind of get to a place where they've developed themselves or whatever it is, and they're in the right time, and they meet a girl who just knocks them off their feet. Or meets a guy, and this is a kind of a pattern that you find in life. Like, everybody's got that one, or the one that got away, or whatever it is. And I think that it's just it was kind of the right place, right time, and the perfect girl that you would have wanted. Everything kind of lined up. But that doesn't mean, and for whatever reason it ended. Maybe you weren't developmentally there. Maybe something happened it was just a mistake, and it had nothing to do with how you guys got together. But if you guys aren't together anymore, you can't possibly think that the one is now away. They got away. You can't possibly think that, because that would imply that a creator has specifically designed this person for you. And then that gets into a religious argument, which we don't have to go into that right now.
We've been there, done that.
But I do not believe in the one. I believe that the first person that you find that is so genetically compatible with you, and you're so in love with them, and it produces that rush, that endorphin rush, or whatever it is, and you get that attachment. I think that when you break away from that, it's a lot like doing drugs. And I think that if you do enough drugs, it actually depletes your brain's ability to get high off of them. You can't. So if the first time you use cocaine is the best time you're ever going to use cocaine. After that, it slowly deteriorates until you just, it's like something else that you don't even care anymore. It doesn't do the same thing to your brain that it did the first time. So I think that's what it is. It's just the receptors in your brain, and I don't have any science to back this up. I mean, I haven't actually researched this, but this is my own personal theory, is that
Fair enough.
Your brain, it's the first time that it's ever been that chemically bonded to another human being. and that's why it's very, very hard to find that first love again.
I will tell you that you are 100% correct. So
Look at
go
that,
you,
look at that.
kudos, look at you. I actually paid attention in my psychology classes, and you give off, you elicit some type of, I don't know if they're endorphins or some type of chemicals.
Pheromones?
Oxytocin.
Oh, you guys are throwing out a lot of like things here that I
Oxytocin
like,
is a bonding.
You know, or like pheromones, oxytocin, like throwing stuff out there.
Oxytocin
Any
is
guanine, cysteine.
It's the mom chemical. It's the chemical in your brain that bonds you to your child.
Nope, dopamine.
Is it dopamine?
Love, the feeling that you have when you are in love is dopamine. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And you create that own drug. It's true. And it's the same thing as eating chocolate. Like the two feelings
And cocaine.
are comparable. Yeah, that could be true. So it's true that like
And
those
alcohol.
feelings.
We're going
Any
left
other
here.
drug?
We're going left. We're going left. I'm like, what are we talking about anymore? I don't even know.
But yeah,
We're so
you're
wrong.
correct. It does give off.
They say, I heard this a long time ago, but they say that breaking up with somebody is the equivalent of actually quitting heroin cold turkey.
I can see that.
I mean, I have a different philosophy totally. I mean, I kind of agree with you, but I'm somebody, I feel like I live like I feel like that's a very like left brain happy lot. I'm like very right brain. I'm like, listen, we have a couple soulmates out there. We just find one, whatever one works. We kind of hang out with that one for the rest of our life. We just move on. I feel like there are a couple people that got to be carved out that are pretty decent for us. You know what I mean? And we just kind of, whoever we meet in our social circle or however we meet them, you know, whichever one we end up with that's closest to us, that works best for us, it's fine. But you can't tell me that there ain't 4 more of them out there. You just cannot tell me that. You can't convince me that there aren't, you know, other people out there that will also work for you. I just think that it's one of those things that you decide, like, look, it works best with you. You're another cool person. I love you. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you. And, you know, and there's just something familiar about it. I feel like you're just kind of cut from the same cloth. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You know, I'm also very right brained and very left brained. So they switch back and forth. They oscillate. And I love the idea of romance and all of that stuff and
It's
soulmates.
nice.
I'm not saying whatsoever that there's only one and that it'll never be again. I'm just saying that throughout the process of selection, you'll find a few people that are just kind of perfect for you.
Right.
They're compatible in so many different ways that it's like bing, and you find that person, and then if it doesn't work, of course there's going to be another one. They're just rarer. It's hard to find.
I just find so many things these days actually tamper with that process. You know what I mean? Like bars and alcohol and going out. You know what I mean?
Social media.
Girl, bye. You get up on, I mean,
Yeah,
somebody
like,
look good as hell on Instagram. You see them in person, you're like, nah, you're a hell of a 4. Like, you're a hell of a 4. I mean, but it just, you know, I'm saying like going out in bars, you know, you see people who do that. They'll go out and they'll get wasted. Like, that's something I've never had a big practice in. I don't believe in it. Like, there's just nothing real about that. I'm the girl that's always coming in the bar. Yeah, I'm always one that's coming in the bar to pick my friends up. You know what I mean? Like, that's me because I'm at home watching Golden Girls. Like, bye. I'm not trying to have these kind of like meaningless connections.
Oh, I love that show.
I'm not the best. I feel like an inner Blanche.
I just like watched all of Gilmore Girls, by the way.
I mean, don't you love it?
It's
I
so
mean,
cute.
Oh my God, we're doing this right now.
We are.
We
It's
did.
happening. My
I'm
bad.
sorry. We definitely just went there.
There you go.
Well, another thing to consider, speaking of like, you know, going through your own process of like finding the one, I think as a single mother, again, you know, you develop as a single mother, not just a woman. So, you know, when you first have your child and you're going in motherhood as a single mother, you are extremely vulnerable and you're sad. Like you go through this depression, and that's what I did. Were your kids born as a single mother?
Nope, not at all. Lord, I was like, hallelujah. Like, I'm on my own. Bye.
I was
like, bye. When it's
My-
bad enough, you kick them out. Bye.
really.
Get gone.
We have these ideas that we want our kids to have a mother and a father. We have these ideas in our head. Like when I wanted to give birth and have someone holding my hand. Like
I mean, he was there and it was cool.
okay,
but
I didn't have any of that. So when I first had my daughter, like I definitely kind of I felt like I was kind of settling for anyone because I wanted companionship. I thought like no one was ever going to want me anymore because I'm officially a single mother. I'm young. These statistics and stereotypes, like I just thought it was the end of the world. So if someone was attracted to me, I would have taken it. I would have settled.
Well, and it's funny because not only developing as a woman, but actually your career. We didn't even touch
Right.
on this. You actually help. Was it battered women?
Yeah,
so
I do.
You're actually a counselor for her.
Yeah, I'm not a counselor, but I work at a domestic violence intervention and prevention center, and even when I watch them develop and I watch them grow at our centers, like it's true, their standards of men change, and as they become more independent, they don't feel like a male companionship is necessary. So, and I feel like that's true with me too, is that, you know, but it's true. Well, for me, I felt like as I became more of a career woman, so I had my daughter in college, and so I was, you know, really young, and I was studying and all that stuff. So at that point, I was willing to settle for anyone. But as, you know, I become more independent, I become a career woman, I'm making my own source of income, things like that, I start feeling like I can say no. And Madison's getting older.
Just say no, baby.
So, right, but like when your children get older, motherhood in some instances,
you know what I mean? Like to them boys, you just say no.
That's
just like a joy.
Your facial expressions over here.
I mean, I'm just, you know, I have stank face real bad. It's all bad. You know what I mean? I just don't feel that way.
I mean, but there's a stigma out there. Like people really will remind you, like, no one's gonna want you. I remember when I told my friend immediately,
you're too pretty for that. Don't listen to that.
But like,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But I told my friend, and so how old was I? 20, 21, 20. I was like, I'm pregnant. She said, get an abortion. That was it. Like her reaction was straight up, get an abortion. Like she didn't even like, she didn't think about it. She didn't process it. Get an abortion. And she said, and by the way, she's young, and she said, no man is ever going to want you with a baby. Now, at that point, I was scared.
I may not want a man with a baby.
I was scared shitless because if you think that as a woman, I can't even imagine what, like, you know, these unemotional men are thinking. And so right then and there, I immediately was like, look, no one's going to want me. No one is going to want me. And then you get in relationships with guys that assume they assume that, you know, you are a single mother and you are so damaged from your past relationship because you aren't with the father of your child that, like, me wanting to step in and take up that responsibility, like, you know, you'll never find someone like me, like, because no one's ever gonna want you. So then I've had different relationships, but
yes, because you said that with this S word, settle, not me. Nope, not once, not twice.
When I got in a relationship, like post baby and post relationship with the father of my child, like that was his excuse. He was like, you know, the father of your child, and I don't want to speak badly about him, but he is so absent from your daughter's life, and I am so present that, like, you can't do any better than me, like, because no one is going to want to be.
Listen, we thought this was a radio show. This is an intervention right now. You got to quit.
No,
like,
but those are the realities of it, because when I see, like, you know,
this is past tense.
This is past tense.
Yeah.
This is but when I see, like, baby mamas, because, like, that's what we're speaking on right now. Well, that's what I'm speaking on right now. Like, they settle because they internalize that they are baby mamas.
And and that mindset is very prevalent. I've experienced that mindset in women, and I've also experienced. It's funny, this is really kind of a display on kind of the mindset that you choose and how it manifests in your life or whatever. Did you find that because you had that mindset, you took the guy who kind of reminded you of that mindset and kind of kept you in that cycle?
And it was extremely manipulative.
And your relationship was, you said,
totally
fuck it, and then you ended up
She talks about wanting a man after she had a child. I didn't want men after I had kids. I was like, bye. I could have a chance of having a third child. I'm out of here.
This
like,
ain't no dick zone.
I got my 2. I'm done. Look, I'm different. I'm kind of a different kind of a female. I had a mom who was very tough on me, which is a positive thing at this juncture in life. You know, maybe then it was a little difficult, but now I'm thankful. She raised me to be a really strong woman. At the end of the day, like, there's no way I'm going to settle on somebody because I don't need another headache. Like, I have enough. You know what I mean? I'm just not trying to have all that happen. And I'm not trying to be told that I'm a baby mama. Like, look, I had unfortunate circumstances. It didn't work out with my ex-husband, but I'm not going to be punished or wear a scarlet letter. It's not going to happen.
But people don't understand that.
I'm going to make them. Like, best believe you got to understand that if you're part of my life.
When you think about, like, your first encounter with someone that you're attracted to, whether it's, you know, online, in person, whatever it is, like, they size you up the moment they see you. The moment they see you. So if the first thing that, you know, comes out of your mouth, so, like, let's say they find you on social media. My daughter, by the way, is all over my social media.
That's so cute.
So
she's so pretty.
I'm like so obsessed with her. Oh, she's so cute. But, you
know,
know,
she sings. She was singing earlier too. She showed me the video for singing. That baby is just beautiful.
She can sing. I'm not
gonna I cannot
She can hold a note now.
I cannot wait.
She can sing.
She's beautiful.
But, like, when you think about, like, your first encounter with that person, they don't know all these incredible things about you. Like, they don't know what you've been through.
They're gonna learn. They're gonna sit down and
you are-
listen.
But they
I'm
are.
incredible.
That's what I'm telling you.
Like, I'm not trying to convince them. Like,
but
they need to know I'm already incredible when they approach me. Like, I'm a 10. Get
I
your
have
life.
experienced it where they aren't trying to get to know me. They assume these things, and it just
Start walking around like you're a 10. Girl, I'm telling you how it works right here, right now. Start walking around like you a 10. And then when you start doing that and exude that confidence.
That's the craziest thing. I do. Like
you are. You're 12.
I feel like I'm eliciting.
She is 12. Like, what you mean? She's gorgeous.
I feel like I listen, certain
this
energy.
is an intervention. Like, you have been messing around with the wrong
listen,
kind of men.
No, you have to think about, like, community, right? So, like,
no, I don't. You gotta think about me. This is a point.
No, listen. So I attract men of color. I like, specifically black men. So when I come off strong like this, like the way that you're telling me to come off, it doesn't necessarily attract them. Like, they aren't necessarily going through that.
Look, listen to me.
Wait, their reaction, hold on. Their reaction is that I'm either washed up, I'm smart mouth, like I'm quick with my mouth because I consider myself an intellectual. Like I consider myself able to like have a full conversation with someone. So to them, I'm quick with my mouth. Like I am that ratchet. Like I may as well be on Love and Hip Hop. I don't think I sound like I should be on Love and Hip Hop. I mean, I love that show.
I love that show too.
But like it's kind of
that's my jam.
Yeah,
Stevie
but no one
J.
needs to know that. Like I don't tell anyone that I watch it, but like I just told everyone. Okay, whatever. So
anyway, I watch it. I watch it. Best believe. Watch it every day.
You have to like understand like the dynamic of like certain communities. Like they don't like that I have this like
first of all, you haven't seen me from the back. I attract black men too. Girl, bye. I would be like, listen, I am smart mouth. I should be on Love and Hip Hop, and I don't care. And you best like it because I cook too, and I'm a nice woman, and I make enough money to support me and my own children. So you either come in my life. Earlier, you're talking about. Am I looking for a husband? No, I'm looking for an extension in my life to make it better. I'm looking for an enhancement. It's like anything else in life. I'm not looking for a husband. Maybe if we decide to go that route and get married, sure. I'm looking for someone that's organic. I want to meet someone. I want it to happen how it's supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. And I don't need a husband necessarily. So that's kind of my mentality on that one. But I mean, when it comes down to it, you have to be yourself and you have to be strong. And like, listen, when it comes down to it, I can support my own children and I can do my own thing. I really don't have to have anyone for anything.
I think what you guys are actually talking about is you kind of have to wear what looks best on you. And when she's talking about is when you're too alpha, when a woman...
I am an alpha woman.
When a woman becomes too forceful or too alpha or at least starts to project a sort of masculine energy, it can be a turnoff to guys. And I've thought about this a lot because we're starting a brand called Modern Female, and we're going to start doing the same thing with males that we do with females. And confidence is attractive, but overconfidence or that kind of masculine energy isn't attractive, just like it isn't really kind of attractive to women when it's exhibited in men. It's really interesting that the social dynamics are kind of universally attractive or unattractive.
It is.
But what you're talking about is you feel like your sense of self-worth is so grounded, but then what you guys are really talking about is how you're displaying that around that, and you've got kind of this attitude-y thing that works for you, and it's cute, it comes off well, and you're saying that every time that you've tried that kind of attitude thing,
I don't have an attitude thing. It's just kind of like
I think she's afraid to show it. I think
no,
that kind of
but
no. I
but no. But here's the thing: you guys can both feel the same way about yourselves and display it in different ways, which is interesting because I think you're talking that you actually grew into that mindset. But that it didn't come naturally, and it didn't come naturally for me either. I grew up with a very, very low sense of self-worth, and I went through the processes and trials and errors and a lot of overcompensation. For a long time, I was incredibly arrogant because I was overcompensating for the fact that I didn't think that I was good enough. So I kind of projected it constantly. And then, after like what you guys are talking about, as you start to accomplish things in your life and you do things and you move forward and you progress, then you start to really come to understand and love and be comfortable with who you are and know what it's worth and that it's awesome and this and that. And stop selling yourself short. So I think what you guys are talking about is actually like 4 or 5 different things kind of muddled into one.
I kind of think so, but it's like when I show, because I definitely have a more masculine energy. That is definitely me. But when it comes
you're very feminine. You have a very strong energy.
Well, I think that's for me. I need a guy who's like a little bit more. soft and sweeter. I need that in my life. So
No,
it's like
I
the
don't
energy.
want that.
See, like that's the thing though. It's like I have to have someone who's more or less like understanding and sweet because my energy is strong. It always has been, and it's my mother's and my sister's. And my mother and my sister are both married to men who, or my father was, a softer man, and my sister's husband is as well. Educated, nice people, but they're more softer spoken and sweet, and it's wonderful. So it's like I have to stay in that place and exude that the entire time because I've tried to pull it back as someone who was afraid that it wasn't. I was afraid that I was coming off too strong. The more I did that, and then I became myself because you always revert back to who you really are. As I've gotten older, it's like, no, I have to show that immediately because I need someone who can understand that. Because later on in life, when I tried to pull that back, I would date a guy who was stronger, and then we would clash, and it would become something that was a problem. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't necessarily equate that with strength because I've met plenty of laid back people who are awesome and they're very strong, but they're just kind of laid back. They're cute, they're sweet, they're charming. They don't feel the need to constantly assert their masculine dominance over everything and kind of always push that, that competition for, being better than, or being right all the time, or all the things that come with the masculine that are actually kind of, short-sighted. They end up limiting men from a lot of growth and kind of amazing experiences in life. But what I'm curious about, and this is kind of personal, you don't have to answer this, but do you
I knew this was
I already played the fifth. I don't even know what it is.
does that quality switch in the bedroom? Do you find that you need kind of a
Totally. I mean, here's the thing. Look, check this out. I am like, it's really funny. I'm somebody who, again, I do have a very strong personality. I can handle a lot. That's why I'm really good at my job. I can handle a tough workload. Why I do the things I can do. It's a beautiful thing. But at the end of the day, like I'm the person that when my father passed away, I didn't cry in front of anybody at the funeral. I was very like straight faced. Went in the bathroom, cried like a 2-year-old. And then walk right back out. I'm that girl. You know what I mean? I'm the girl that does stuff like that. So, yeah, but at the end of the day, I still want to be a female, and I still want to have those moments where I can be soft and tender, but I show it to very few people only because that's the way, all the females in my family are. That's the way all my, great role models are. So it's not like I have anything to hide or anything else. I'm just someone that I believe those things are in private. I keep a small group of everything. Yeah. And I'm like one of everything. That's all I need. You know what I mean? Okay. So it's just, but yeah, when it comes down
like a walking
to it.
survival kit.
Pretty much. Like I got one crush. I got one, I got one this, one that. But yeah, absolutely. When it comes down to being a female, that energy has to switch in that moment because that's a very primal moment, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to kind of let everything be organic and natural. And I think it's more of a guy's role to kind of step into that. And you just kind of have to fall back. And that's that good time where you can, because it's like anything that happened during the day or during the argument, during the relationship, it's like they get that role switch and it's kind of nice. So
let
it's
that
cool.
be a lesson to you guys. You can be the stoic alpha male in the bedroom. But I'm coming to a conclusion. I'm writing a lot of articles right now on being an alpha male and what that is and how it directly translates, and a lot of dating advice. That's okay. Just leave it. A lot of dating advice is perpetuating this idea that men need to become these alpha males. Be more alpha, be more alpha. So these guys are exhibiting these qualities of extreme aggression, and they're kind of being dickish, and they're really not. They're missing the mark, and they're being sort of pig-headed and stubborn and over dominating. And that quality is it says I don't give a shit, which can be attractive to less evolved women.
Well, I think there's more to an alpha male than just like an asshole. Yeah. Like I think that,
Well, that's the archetype. So I'm writing all these articles on what I actually believe an alpha male is.
Well, I think an alpha male is someone who this is a bad example, but like if there's a spider in my room, like you're gonna kill it. I'm not gonna kill it. Or the spider's gonna be there, for
alpha male, the spider killer.
Oh my God. Like I cannot do spiders. Or something like, if I remember when I was in college and I could not for the life of me figure out how to do her bassinet. Like I couldn't figure out how to put it together. And I was like, cute. Oh my God, there's this spider here and this bassinet. Like I need help. Eventually I figured it out. But
so does it turn you on when somebody kills a spider? Is it like a little like,
no,
ooh?
No, it's not.
Then that's not an alpha quality.
Right. But the ability to be able to do things that I can't, like
you can kill that spider. I believe in you.
Heck no,
I love our dynamic because we are two different people, and that's
totally
what's so
different.
cool. It's like a perfect show because we're two different people. Because like I'm different. Like an alpha male to me has to be somebody like I need a guy. Look, my partner is my apocalypse partner. You need to keep your cool. Like if shit goes down, I need you to know you got it all together. Like I need to know I can rely on you because I may lose it. Like I usually have my cool together. If I lose it, I need you to have it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need the alpha male has to be someone who's a good leader. Like, look, check this out. The way that I look at men is I always am watching and like I don't really go by what they say. If you're standing next to a man and he's looking at other women, boom, you're out right there. You know why? Because that's just disrespect.
Yeah.
I understand. Believe me, there are good looking men in here too. Best believe I've already scanned and done a quick perusal. Like I've seen 3, but I'm not sitting there looking being crazy. Like that just lets me know how mature you are. You know, if you start to hear them talk about themselves and stuff that you know that hadn't been going on, because men tend to do that a lot of times. Like, boy, bad. I ain't got time for that. You know what I mean? Shouldn't be deciphering what you're saying. So for me, an alpha man is someone who has it together, who's just basically being themselves and not forcing anything. You know what I mean?
I've come to the conclusion that an alpha male is somebody who
sexier.
is not afraid, who knows what they want, who's vetted through, figured out what they want. They're not afraid to go get it.
Right.
They don't let fear control their life. And fear is actually the cause of most insecurity because fear is what inhibits you from actually going out and experiencing the world. You stay in this pocket of fear and you don't say, well, you know, and you end up kind of trading pain for love. So you're in this place, you're too afraid to go there, and you're not in enough pain to actually move into something that you love or to take a leap. So there's this weird dynamic with pain, fear, love, and
I see that with women a lot
insecurity.
too. They're very like, you know, I don't need a man, or I don't need this, or I don't need that. Like, look, everyone needs somebody. Quit portraying that. You know what I mean? That hard exterior is not attractive to anyone. No one wants to try to penetrate that. Males or females. No one wants to try to jump into that.
But I have reached that
alpha male
point.
can't have that.
I think yeah, past year. But I think that I have reached that point and kind of had that like dialogue with myself that like, you know, sometimes I honestly feel like I don't need a man. Like sometimes I do receive that same feeling, you know, when I put my focus into my work and my career and wanting to better myself. And sometimes my line of reasoning for that is, I feel like this really contradicted what I was saying before, but when I think about it, but what my line of reasoning for that is when I do achieve that success that I do want, I feel like that's when I'm going to attract the appropriate person because I think that, you know.
So you're just on a life path that's different than currently where I'm at. Maybe I've already been where you've been. I understand where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong. I hear you and I've been there before. But it's just like, I think, you know, I've stepped up just a little bit further just because I was married to him and I kind of went through that whole bad relationship and losing that. So I've already had that one strong one where, you know, you lose someone and you move forward. So I feel you where you're coming from. I really do. Because there was a point in my time where I thought, you know, I don't need anybody either. But then eventually it's like, you definitely do. It's just the fact that you've been so hurt and you feel so irritated with the men that have hurt you that you're just like, I don't want those men.
Well,
those men have hurt you.
No, that's not it. It's that I just don't have time for the bullshit. Like, I just, like, that's the reality of it. Like, I just, like, ain't nobody got time.
Where'd the bullshit come from? The first four beforehand.
Ain't nobody have time to bullshit here. Like, I don't have time for it. Like, I am busy. I am a career woman. Like, I see myself doing a lot of big things for the world, for my community, and I just don't have time. I don't have time for it. Like,
ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for you.
So it's like, would I rather be, you know, sitting on the phone with you arguing about something stupid or settling for someone that I just don't think is up to par, or do I stay single, get my shit together, and then put myself in a specific environment where I'm attracting someone that is more yoked as me, because I consider myself, you know,
She's pretty yoked. She's pretty buff.
So you're in a place where you're not portraying that.
Equally yoked.
So you're in a place where you're not really portraying that to the world, being hard in the exterior. You're just saying like, I want to get some more stuff done. You know, and that's totally different.
Come off that way.
Right.
You know, okay.
That's good though. That's good. So that's fair to say. Like, look, I'm not ready.
Someone called me a modern feminist, and I was like,
thank you.
And
like,
so, well,
okay.
And so I took it and I like kind of ran with it, but I was like, but why am I a modern feminist? And they basically.
But why is that a bad thing? Like, I'd have been like, thank you.
No,
like,
I'm okay with it, and I proudly
and
will
an old
wear
school
that
one
title.
too.
Like, I will take on that challenge. Like, I will advocate. I will do all that stuff. Like, that's fine with me. But it was just really interesting that, you know, they were basically saying, like, based on like the trajectory of my Instagram pictures, I am a feminist compared to other people, and because of that.
Why? Because you're not posting shots of your ass.
Yeah. And so,
I mean, I am, but I'm still a feminist. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
you know, it doesn't matter.
So they told me that I don't attract men because of my timeline of my picture.
Wait, did you write
could
into
see how-
them and ask a question to them? Who are these
No,
people?
I mean, like it was like I am open. I'm not a judgmental person, and I'm open to opinions. Like, do I, take them and run with them and let it absorb me? No. But do I listen and try and understand that everyone has their own attitudes and behaviors and beliefs?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's
Sure.
kind of interesting to know how they feel, and that was how they felt. They were
just think
like,
it's what they're
you are
saying.
so intimidating.
Yeah, I could see how guys with without any ambition what is it called? Ain't do shit motherfuckers would be intimidated by you. But you're gonna
Right.
find plenty of guys that aren't. It goes both ways. There are guys that are gonna really appreciate the fact that your Instagram isn't riddled.
My thing
with,
is cite your source. Like, who's telling you this? Like, who are you? Like,
We're not gonna put them on
Our
a bus.
experiences are so different.
But-
That
I
is
mean, have to be
incredible.
like,
Yeah.
have to be, because I wish somebody would jump up on my shit and say something like, I stay prayed up for that occasion.
But see, even presenting that attitude in kind of a consistent way is going to make people go, oh, well, I ain't going
I
to
don't
say
have
that.
nothing to say. That's right. You sure don't, because I don't have anything to say to you either.
But
It's
we
nice.
are almost out of time. I want this conversation to keep going. So where can people find you? And what are your final statements?
You can find me on Mommy and Madison.
On Instagram.
On Instagram. I have a blog, but I haven't had time to really get to it. But there are a lot of things in the works that's gonna happen. So I guess look out for me. Yeah.
Exciting. All right. And you?
All right. I am on Instagram at Leah Pelka, and you can find me there, and it does not go down in my DM. That's my final statement, just so you know before you even get there.
Don't even try
Best
it. It's
believe.
not gonna happen.
Don't try it. All right, guys. Well, this has been an exciting show. As always, you can find us at modernmaileinc.com/radio. You can find us on Instagram at modern.mail, on Twitter at Mail Methodology, and you can find me on Facebook. Just Google my name. It's like right there. Anyways, that's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Modern Mail Radio.
You're listening to Modern Mail Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.